You've been told a story about attraction. A simple, logical story that says if you build a successful career, drive the right car, maintain a perfect gym record, and most importantly, be the exceptionally nice guy, you will win. You follow the rules, you are agreeable, you are reliable. Yet you watch as the women you are most drawn to gravitate toward men who seem to be less invested. Not colder, not crueler, but possessing a quiet center of gravity that you can't quite decipher. As a behavioral analyst, I've dedicated my career to decoding these human dynamics, and I can tell you this feeling of confusion is one of the most common silent frustrations men bring to me. They all ask a variation of the same question. If I'm doing everything they say they want, why doesn't it work? This question is the beginning of wisdom. The answer, however, isn't found where most men look. It's not about learning aggressive tactics or becoming a detached bad boy. That's just trading one performance for another. The real answer lies in understanding a fundamental truth of female psychology. The most powerfully attractive force in a man is the undeniable, non-verbal proof that he does not need a woman's approval to feel complete. It's an energy of self-containment. Today, I'm going to reveal the 4 specific habits that cultivate and broadcast this exact energy. These are not grand theatrical gestures. They are subtle, almost invisible shifts in your default behavior. But make no mistake, these are the signals that separate the men from the boys in a woman's subconscious, and the recognition can be instant. And a quick word of advice. The 4th habit is the most counterintuitive, and it's the one that makes all the others truly work. So make sure you stay for it. What we are about to do here is fundamentally shift your perspective. We will move away from the exhausting, endless checklist of actions you're told you must do, and instead focus on the internal state you must cultivate. You will learn to recognize the subtle, almost invisible tests of congruence that women present in everyday interactions, not as malicious games, but as subconscious inquiries into your emotional stability. By the end of this video, you won't just have a list of 4 habits. You will possess a new lens through which to view your own behavior and the behavior of those around you. You will finally understand why a moment of well-placed silence can be more powerful than a flood of compliments, and why your ability to be decisive about something as simple as dinner plans sends a profound message about your internal world. This is the decoder you've been searching for. This journey is about replacing reactive anxiety with a grounded, quiet confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. It is a presence felt in the room even before you speak. And as we explore these habits together, I want you to feel part of a larger conversation. I find it fascinating to see where this message resonates, so do me a small favor and leave a comment below with the city or state you're watching from. It's a simple way to see the community we're building. What you're about to learn is not a set of rules, but a recalibration of your emotional center of gravity. This knowledge will allow you to stop performing for validation and start attracting from a place of genuine, unshakable self-possession. It's the difference between being a participant in the game and becoming the environment in which the game is played. Before we proceed, it's crucial you understand the lens through which I analyze these dynamics. My work is rooted in behavioral psychology, but it's sharpened by a distinctly female perspective. This isn't about claiming mystical intuition. It's about acknowledging that I have a native understanding of the subtle communication that often flows beneath the surface of a conversation. Men are frequently trained to listen to the literal words spoken, while women are often socialized to pay closer attention to the emotional undercurrent, the timing of a pause, the shift in body language, the unspoken intention behind a question. It is in this nuanced space that attraction is either built or dismantled. Therefore, you must stop looking for a single, definitive sign. One gesture is merely data. A consistent pattern is evidence. The behaviors we're about to dissect are often responses to what men commonly call tests. But I want you to reframe that word. These aren't conscious, manipulative quizzes designed to make you fail. Think of them as subconscious congruence checks. A woman's psyche is often wired to probe for stability, to see if the man in front of her is a sturdy oak or a sapling that sways with every gust of wind. Does his behavior match his words? Can he hold his center when faced with a little ambiguity or pressure? These checks are rarely a single event. They are a series of small, almost imperceptible pressures applied over time. Understanding them requires you to stop reacting to the individual question and start recognizing the overarching pattern of inquiry. My role here is to act as your translator. As a behavioral analyst, I can deconstruct the patterns. As a woman, I can give you insight into the emotional logic that often drives them. We're not going to be dealing in simplistic formulas or one-size-fits-all tricks. Instead, I will guide you to cultivate a state of being that is inherently attractive because it is grounded, self-possessed, and real. The 4 habits I am about to share are the external manifestation of this internal reality. They are the practical application of a mature emotional core. They are not a performance to be put on, but the inevitable result of a man who has done the inner work and is, finally, complete on his own. The first habit, and arguably the foundation for all the others, is the cultivation of emotional self-reliance. This is the ability to maintain your internal equilibrium regardless of external chaos or ambiguity. An emotionally immature man's mood is a direct reflection of his environment. If she's happy, he's relieved. If she's distant, he's anxious. The mature man, however, operates from a different source code. Imagine she's running late for a date. The reactive man sends passive-aggressive texts, his evening's happiness held hostage by her ETA. The self-reliant man, however, is unperturbed. He might read a book, answer an email, or simply enjoy observing the world around him. When she arrives, flustered and apologetic, he greets her with a genuine smile and says, "I'm glad you're here," because his peace was never hers to disrupt in the first place. This calm demeanor is not an act of indifference. It is a powerful broadcast of internal security. From a psychological standpoint, a woman's nervous system is highly attuned to the stability of the man she is with. When a man is easily rattled, it signals that he cannot be a source of safety in times of actual crisis. His emotional reactivity is a subconscious red flag. Therefore, her occasional moodiness, her moments of pulling away, or even a simple delayed text message can function as an unconscious probe. Is he stable? Or will he crumble under the slightest pressure? By remaining centered and not mirroring her fleeting emotional states, you aren't being cold. You are non-verbally communicating that you are the anchor, not another boat being tossed around in the same storm. This is profoundly reassuring and, consequently, deeply attractive. But this internal calm, this emotional self-reliance, must inevitably translate into external action. It is the bedrock upon which all other mature behaviors are built. Without it, any attempt at leadership feels like control, and any attempt at honesty feels like a complaint. This brings us directly to our second habit, and it is the very place where countless well-intentioned men unknowingly disqualify themselves. They believe they are being accommodating and easygoing, when in reality, they are signaling a lack of direction that is subconsciously perceived as a lack of purpose. It's a subtle distinction, but it makes all the difference in the world. So pay close attention to this next point because it's a mistake you've likely made dozens of times. The second habit is proactive, decisive leadership. This is not about being a tyrant or a dictator. It is about gently and confidently taking the lead in ambiguous situations, thereby lifting the mental burden from her. The classic example is the dreaded question, "So, what should we do tonight?" The immature man, hoping to appear agreeable, replies with, "I don't know, what do you want to do?" He thinks he's being nice, but what she hears is a void of intention. The mature man, in contrast, comes prepared. He says, "I was thinking we could either try that new Italian place downtown or go for a walk by the lake. Which one sounds better to you?" He provides a structured choice, demonstrating foresight and initiative while still giving her agency within his framework. This simple shift has a profound psychological effect. The modern world places an immense cognitive load on everyone, and decision fatigue is very real. When a man consistently presents clear, well-thought-out options, he is offering a woman a moment of mental reprieve. He is signaling that he has his own life in order, that he has a plan, and that she is being invited to join him in a world he has already curated. This is not about controlling her. It is about providing a safe and exciting structure within which she can relax and be present. It communicates, "I've got this. You can trust my lead." This sense of being safely guided is one of the most powerful and most desired feelings in the landscape of attraction. However, it is crucial to understand that this leadership is a service, not a demand. It's a gentle guidance, not a forceful push. And the key to making it feel attractive rather than controlling lies in our third habit. This is where the real nuance comes in, because you can do everything right. Be calm, be decisive. But if you are secretly attached to a specific reaction from her, she will sense it instantly. This next habit is about the final and most important piece of the leadership puzzle: detaching from the outcome. It is the invisible ingredient that transforms a good man into a magnetic one. And it is the most difficult for many to master because it requires a fundamental shift in your source of validation. The third habit is what I call validation through detachment. It's the practice of being your own primary source of approval. The man who lacks this quality is constantly, subtly, looking to her for cues. He buys a new shirt and asks, "Do you like it?" He tells a joke and scans her face for a laugh. He plans a date and his enjoyment is contingent on her level of enthusiasm. The mature man, however, operates from a place of internal validation. He sends an invitation to go out, and if she takes hours to reply, his day is not ruined. He puts his phone away and engages with his own life, his work, his workout, his hobbies. Her response when it comes is a welcome addition to his day, not the mission-critical data he needs to feel okay. This behavior creates a fascinating psychological dynamic. When a man does not need a woman's validation, it creates an intriguing vacuum. Instead of him chasing her approval, she finds herself wanting to give it to him. His self-contained world becomes a point of interest. It's like a private club with a single member, and she suddenly wants to know how to get on the guest list. This is the essence of what is often called frame control. His frame, his reality, his priorities, his self-worth, is so solid that it doesn't waver based on her whims. This creates a powerful sense of respect and a magnetic pull. She begins to see him not as someone who wants something from her, but as someone who has a world she might want to be a part of. This detached validation is a non-verbal declaration of high self-worth. It says, "My life is full and meaningful on its own. I would be delighted for you to be a part of it, but my happiness and identity are not dependent on your participation." This is the opposite of neediness, and it is incredibly liberating for both parties. But here is the critical transition. This powerful frame of self-possession is still incomplete. Without the fourth and final habit, it can curdle into arrogance or cold indifference. The last piece of the puzzle is what allows this strength to be paired with warmth and connection, making it not just intimidatingly attractive, but invitingly so. It is the habit that bridges the gap between power and intimacy. The fourth habit, the one that synthesizes all the others, is honest and decisive communication. The immature man often avoids difficult conversations. He uses passive aggression, gives the silent treatment, or tells white lies to avoid conflict. He believes he is keeping the peace, but in reality, he is building a foundation of mistrust and disrespect. The mature man, on the other hand, understands that clarity is kindness. He is not afraid to say no to something he doesn't want to do, to express a boundary when it's crossed, or to state his intentions clearly, even if it feels vulnerable. He does this not with aggression or anger, but with a calm, grounded firmness that respects both himself and the other person. This commitment to honest, direct communication is perhaps the ultimate congruence test. It demonstrates immense courage. It shows that he values the truth more than he fears her reaction. In a world full of ambiguous intentions and half-hearted commitments, a man who can look you in the eye and state his position without apology is a beacon of stability. This is the habit that dismantles the nice guy paradox. The nice guy is often afraid to be honest because he fears losing the girl. The mature man understands that he is willing to risk losing the girl in order to be true to himself. And it is this very willingness, this display of unshakable integrity, that makes him someone she can truly respect and, ultimately, trust. This is also the habit that allows for true vulnerability without appearing weak. A man who is grounded in emotional self-reliance, practices proactive leadership, and is detached from the need for external validation can afford to be vulnerable. He can admit a mistake, share a fear, or express deep affection because his sense of self is not on the line. His vulnerability comes from a position of strength, not neediness. It is an invitation, not a plea. It's the difference between a crumbling wall revealing rubble and a strong fortress deliberately lowering its drawbridge. This is the pinnacle of mature attraction, a man so secure in his foundation that he is not afraid to show you the heart of his kingdom. These 4 habits, then, are not separate tactics, but a deeply interconnected philosophy of being. Emotional self-reliance is the soil. Proactive leadership is the act of planting the seeds. Detached validation is giving those seeds the space to grow without anxiously digging them up to see if they've sprouted. And honest communication is the sunlight and water, the truth that allows for genuine, strong growth. Together, they create an undeniable presence. It is the quiet energy of a man who is the anchor in his own life, a fixed point in a chaotic world. He doesn't chase attraction, he simply is. And in a world of men desperately performing for attention, this silent, self-contained authenticity is the most powerful and effortless magnet of all. Let's bring this into the real world, because these habits are not abstract concepts. They are choices you make in micro-interactions every single day. Picture this. You've been texting with a woman for a few days. The conversation is good. You suggest meeting for a drink on Thursday. She replies, "Maybe. Let me see how the week goes." The man operating on the old programming feels a spike of anxiety. He thinks, "She's not interested. I've been rejected." His response is needy. He might double text or go silent out of spite. The mature man, however, reads that same message and his internal state remains unchanged. He practices detached validation and proactive leadership. He simply replies, "Sounds good. I'm going to lock in plans by Tuesday evening. If you'd like to join, just let me know before then." He has created a clear, low-pressure container. He hasn't made her responsible for his happiness. He has communicated his own standard for planning, and he has placed the decision squarely and calmly in her court. This is not a game. It is clarity. And to a woman navigating a world of ambiguous male interest, that clarity feels like an oasis of calm. Now, consider a different scenario. The first date. You're at a restaurant and she mentions a controversial opinion, perhaps about politics or a social issue, and looks at you expectantly. This is a classic subconscious congruence test. She isn't just asking for your opinion, she's probing your spine. Will you immediately agree with her to curry favor even if you disagree? That signals a lack of a core. Will you become aggressive and try to debate her into submission? That signals insecurity. The man who embodies honest and decisive communication from a place of emotional self-reliance does neither. He might pause, take a sip of water, and say, "That's an interesting take. I actually see it a bit differently." He then states his own view, calmly and without any need for her to agree with him. He is not being confrontational, he is being whole. He is demonstrating that he is a separate, sovereign individual, and he trusts her enough to handle a difference of opinion. This moment, this refusal to chameleon himself for her approval, is where respect is born. And without respect, there can be no lasting attraction. Finally, let's look at the power of these habits in a more established context. You've been seeing each other for a few weeks. One night, she is unusually quiet and distant. The immature man's mind races. What did I do wrong? Is she mad at me? Is she thinking about someone else? His anxiety compels him to pepper her with questions. Are you okay? What's wrong? Did I do something? He is seeking reassurance, trying to pull her out of her emotional state to soothe his own discomfort. The mature man, grounded in his own center, gives her space. He doesn't ignore her, but he doesn't crowd her either. He might simply say, "You seem quiet tonight. I'm here if you want to talk about it. If not, that's okay too." And then he goes back to reading his book. He is communicating non-verbally. Your emotions are not a threat to me. I am a strong enough container to hold this space for you without needing to fix it. This is not indifference. This is strength. This is safety. And for a woman, feeling that kind of unshakable, quiet strength is one of the most profoundly attractive experiences she can have. However, a crucial word of caution is necessary here. The greatest mistake you can make is to take this knowledge and turn it into another rigid, performance-based checklist. These habits are not tactics to be deployed, they are qualities to be embodied. The man who starts seeing tests in every interaction becomes paranoid, not powerful. Sometimes a delayed text message is just a delayed text message, the result of a busy day, not a subconscious probe of your emotional stability. A moment of indecision might stem from genuine fatigue, not a hidden request for your leadership. Your goal is not to become a hyper-vigilant analyst of her every move, but to become so grounded in your own reality that you develop the wisdom to discern a signal from the noise. True maturity is not about having the perfect response for every scenario. It is about cultivating the inner calm that allows you to respond authentically to reality as it is, not as you fear it might be. Furthermore, you must understand that these are not all-or-nothing principles. This is not a video game where one wrong move means game over. The power of these habits emerges from their consistent, low-key application over time, not from one heroic act of decisiveness or one perfect display of detachment. The aim is not to become an unfeeling stoic who is never affected by a woman's mood, but to be a man whose emotional center is not contingent on her mood. It's about being an oak tree, not a stone statue. The oak can bend slightly in the wind, it can be rained on, and its leaves can be rustled, but its roots remain firmly planted. If you are merely acting the part, pretending to be detached, faking decisiveness, you will be discovered. Congruence is everything. This journey is about a genuine internal shift, not about finding a better mask to wear. But now we arrive at the heart of the matter, the central axis around which these 4 habits revolve. There is a final, unifying principle that, once understood, elevates this entire philosophy from a set of behaviors to an unshakable state of being. And the great revelation is this: the most profound source of attraction is not how you behave in her presence, but the unwavering integrity of the world you build in her absence. It is the undeniable evidence that you are so committed to your own purpose, your own moral code, and your own personal growth that her validation, while appreciated, is not required for your completion. A woman is not truly attracted to a man who simply wants her. She is mesmerized by a man whose life is so compelling and full of meaning on its own that she feels an irresistible desire to be a part of that world. This is the ultimate reframe. You are not building habits to attract her. You are building a life, and the attraction is merely the inevitable, effortless byproduct. And so, the picture becomes clear. You now see that true attraction isn't a prize you win, but an energy you embody, the natural result of your own internal wholeness. You have the blueprint to stop chasing and start becoming the anchor in your own life. But here is the critical truth. Once a woman senses this stability, her subconscious will test it. Understanding these habits is only half the journey. Knowing how to respond when they are tested is what truly matters. That is precisely why I created the next video in this series titled, She Will Test You: 5 Unspoken Ways Women Verify a Man's Strength. It's the essential guide to navigating these moments and deepening her attraction, not just earning it. To continue this journey and complete your understanding, click on the video you see on your screen now. The most important step is the one you take next.